This is in effect for Shenandoah and also Page and Rockingham counties until 12:45. So here's a radar. Here's that second line of storms we've been talking about. This is actually with the front itself, and they're holding together. So we'll zoom in. So just to the northeast of Harrisonburg, again, Page, Rockingham, and Shenandoah counties, a tornado warning until 12:45. It is Doppler indicated at this point, but still you should take it seriously and move to some shelter. You folks do have basements in this area, so basements if you have them, if not interior rooms. So we'll go ahead and track this for you. And again, it's Doppler indicated, but we want you to take this seriously because, you know, we've seen tornado warnings much of the night, both in southern Maryland and up into Howard County. So we're going to track this. It's moving off to the north and the east. So if you are anywhere in this area toward Luray particularly, we'll kind of bring it even up to the west of Sperryville. So you know, Alma, 12:22, so another 10 minutes or so. Stanley, 12:27. Big Spring, about 12:43. Any of these are ringing a bell, and you know someone there, text them, call them, DM them, because this is the path of the possible tornado. Bentonville at about 1 o'clock. Now, we can zoom in a little bit, and we can see if we have any rotation. First things we'll zoom in. Do see a little bit of hail here, I think. So just to the north of west of Shenandoah, around Zenda, that's probably some hail, just east side of I-81. That looks like hail. If not hail, it's certainly heavy rainfall and perhaps some hail as well. So if you're in Arcton or Athlone or Catherine Furnace, take cover because it's potentially a tornado. We'll see if we see any rotation in it or any kind of shear. We'll kind of zoom in right near Zenda, and we'll see if this picks up anything, because it would be probably very close to Zenda if we saw anything in terms of rotation. I don't know that we're going to see any rotation from this, but it's possible. Again, it's Doppler indicated, so it's certainly satisfied some criterion from an algorithm, and that's what's kicked off the tornado warning. Again, it is for Rockingham and it's for Page and Shenandoah until 12:45. So we'll see if we can get this to give us, there it is. All right, so this is kind of good news. I don't see anything right around there that indicates to me any kind of rotation. We'll move it back a little bit, okay? That's good. So right now, I don't see much. If you saw a lot of red and green close together, kind of called coupling, then that would indicate perhaps some spin, some rotation. So that's good news. Don't want you to let your guard down, but at least right now we don't see anything on the velocity scan. But in terms of rainfall and even in terms of winds, it's going to have winds of 50 to 60 miles per hour. I mean, these storms have been tracking for a long time, and they're holding together pretty well, despite the fact that that we've already seen some heavy, and severe storms in our area. The atmosphere is still pretty juiced, especially for tropical rains and heavy rain. So this is the warning, again, for Page and Rockingham and Shenandoah, just to the east side of I-81. So this is the area I'm concerned about ahead of the storm, up towards Stanley and 340. That's where we're probably most concerned in terms of the possible track of the storm. So we'll kind of track this in the cone a little bit and give you a little better idea of what could be heading your way, all right? So just kind of keep this in mind. We're looking at the potential for this storm. And again, it's Doppler indicated, okay? It's Doppler indicated. And so it's not set in stone here, but if you're in like Fairview Church or even St. Paul's Church or around these areas, Trinity Church, if you're in this vicinity and this rings a bell, I would certainly get off the second floor. Don't sleep on the second floor tonight. Interior room and in a basement if you have a basement. We would prefer you to be in a basement if you can. We'll zoom out here and we'll actually let me just kind of bring this a little closer to us, and we'll see the rainfall rates here. And we've been looking at this all night. They've been pretty impressive, especially the areas that flooded up near Ellicott City earlier today. These have been quite impressive, actually. So we'll see if it's contaminated by hail. If it's a huge value, that's probably true. So it's probably running around 2 to 3 inches per hour in terms of rainfall. And they're moving off to the north and the east. So that's, that's generally where they've been moving all day, about the same speed. So Luray, you're in the path. Possibly of a tornado, certainly of a severe thunderstorm. It's moving off to the northeast at about 35 miles per hour. And again, it is Doppler indicated at this point. So it is not set in stone, but that's a pretty impressive little storm. And I want to widen out because here's the deal. I mean, this is the second line of showers and storms that we're concerned about with the front. The first line is boom, up near Newark, Delaware. So we're okay right now in the metro. But this is a pretty intense line. And for the most part, the models have been carrying these storms heavy to severe up to about Hagerstown, I-81, and then they've been kind of weakening them a little bit. But of late, some of the models are keeping some of the heavier severe storms closer to like Frederick and Leesburg, so possibly they could stay severe that long. That's why we're kind of concerned about them. So right now, heavy rain from Cumberland to Romney to down 11 and down 48, and this is the tornado warning again for Rockingham and Page and Shenandoah until 12:45. It's Doppler indicated. Let's go through some other stuff here. We got the flood watch for everybody until 4 o'clock. Ironically, not in southern Maryland where there are flood warnings at this point. That goes until 4 a.m. And this is something we looked at, and this is interesting. This is the tornado threat index. See that yellow? That's enhanced. That's about as high as it gets here in the metro. That's pretty interesting. It is very close to the tornado warning at this point. By 1 o'clock, it wanes a little bit, but it's still, very low. And by 2 o'clock, essentially, it's pretty much gone, very, very low. And by 3 o'clock, pretty much gone, very, very low again. So that's good news. I only see that one little area of enhanced, and that is occurring right now to the west. Okay, so where do these storms go? This is Futurecast now, has a pretty good handle on these storms. These are a little further to the east, actually. That's 12:30. By 1:30, holding together, maybe not as severe. You see less flecks of red, so that's good. And then they move through the metro area as we go through the overnight hours. And by 7 o'clock in the morning, we're fine, but we still could have the potential for some severe weather before that. So, we'll go over this. The best place to be if you're under a tornado warning, obviously, is away from windows, interior rooms, and it sounds silly, but cover yourself with blankets and get in a bathtub. Yes, the best place by far and away is the basement, and also away from windows. Don't go in the basement near windows. Some folks have walkout basements. You don't want to be sitting there by the door and looking outside. That's just as dangerous as being, up on the second floor. So these are the storm reports we had earlier today. Massive flooding, Ellicott City and up toward Columbia. Wind gusts of 59 miles per hour earlier with the first round. That was in Quantico. And also some hail reported earlier today. This is much earlier today up to the north with that first wave of storm. So here's the radar, and here's the line we're tracking. And again, on the south side of that line, just to the northeast of Harrisonburg, we've seen a tornado warning pop. And it covers Rockingham, Shenandoah, and Page until 12:45. And it's moving northeast at about 35 miles an hour. It also could have some hail in it. And also, perhaps, even if it doesn't have a weak tornado, certainly some gusty winds. There's no doubt about that. These have been pretty strong storms for some time. If we track this for you, and we'll kind of track it a little wider this time, and if any of this rings a bell and you know somebody, just give them a call or DM them or something. So we're going to start it here, okay, and then we're going to bring it out to the northeast, up toward Front Royal, maybe just to the west of Sperryville. So Stanley at about 12:29, Big Spring at about 12:45, Bentonville at about 1:02, and then Boyd's Mill at about 1:09. So that's the track of the storm. And again, it's Page, it's Rockingham, and Shenandoah County until 12:45. It is Doppler indicated. That doesn't mean you shouldn't take it seriously. We've already had numerous warnings tonight. And some of those were, I think we're going to end up seeing at least one confirmation of a tornado in southern Maryland tonight. So I want folks to kind of take that seriously. I'm looking at some other data now and to see if it's picking up anything that our system is not picking up with a tornado warning. And right now I don't see anything crazy. It looks a little bit like ours. So that's good news, okay? Let's get rid of this, okay, and we'll scope this again and see if we can come up with any, again, rotation. We know it has wind in it, there's no doubt about that. So let's see if we see any rotation here. So this is really good. Don't see much of anything there. It's kind of unusual that I'm not seeing that much, maybe a little far away from the radar at this point. So even though we're not seeing anything, let's just take this seriously, and let's make sure that folks are taking cover. If you know somebody in the area, Page, Rockingham, Shenandoah County, I want you to take cover. I'm going to just pop out here for just 1 second. I'm going to get the old spectacles and make sure that the phone app is not showing any rotation, because the phone app's pretty good, and it's something else we use in terms of trying to decide if it has rotation. And even if it doesn't have rotation, it's going to have some pretty good winds in it. There's no doubt about that. So let me go out of this for just a second. And this is, okay, so there we are. So yeah, it has a little bit here, but nothing scary. You're going to probably see 50, 60 mile per hour winds right here north of Shenandoah, but nothing really scary, at least at this point. I don't think we can call that scary. Let me zoom in a little bit more, okay, and we'll talk about where it could be. I see a little bit, but not a lot. Let's just zoom in right here. Okay, so we're right in between Newmarket and Shenandoah. So Catherine Furnace, that's where you don't want to be. You want to be taking cover right now. Grove Hill, take cover as well, because that's where the storm could be producing a small tornado. I think more than anything, we're going to see some big time winds with this. I really do. We'll put the scope on it again, and this is our scope. If you were looking at this, if you saw red and green together, that would be bad. I'm seeing all green, which is indication of not any rotation, but just straight line winds. Now, it could be that this is so far away from the radar site that it may not be picking it up. So I still want folks to take this seriously. They're continuing the warning for Page and Rockingham and Shenandoah counties. They got a storm. It's about 12 miles northeast of Harrisonburg, moving northeast at about 35. So we knew all that. So it's still you know, a possibility. We'll zoom back out again and zoom back out one more time. Again, even if you're outside this area, like if you're up in Luray, hey, you know, take this seriously. You know, this could certainly end up being a severe thunderstorm for you, or it could be a continuation of the tornado warning. Either way, even though you're outside this, just if you're outside this box doesn't mean, oh, I'm safe. Well, not necessarily. If this thing decides to stay together or maybe even intensify a little bit. I think we're still going to look at probably a severe thunderstorm. And that's what we're going to look for as we go through the next, 10 minutes or so. If they extend the warning, or if they say, okay, we're going to just box around this with a severe thunderstorm warning, which they did for a while down in Charles County, St. Mary's County and Calvert County. They did that for a little while. And we'll see if they do that again, because that could end up saying, hey, okay, it's going to be a severe storm, but it may not hold together in terms of a tornadic activity. So that's good. But let's put Luray in the list here. So 1242, Luray, it could be on your doorstep. So it's out of the box, yes, but just sort of keep that in mind. Alma, 1228, so that's 3 or 4 minutes away. Marksville about 1234. So anywhere in this area, take cover. If you know someone that, and you should have a kind of layers of ways to keep you safe. You should have our app. You should have something that wakes you up if there is a severe thunderstorm or tornado. And certainly, maybe a friend will call you and wake you up too, because that area, Stanley particularly, and Marksville, a little concerned about that. Let me zoom back out, and we'll talk about. Let me zoom back out, and we'll kind of show you the rest of the line, which is still holding together. I mean, it really is. It's pretty massive on the west. It's all on the west side of I-81. This is the only storm that's kind of creeped across I-81 right now. And in the metro, we're okay. We're still reeling from heavy rain. We still have some flood warnings in effect for Charles and St. Mary's County until 4 o'clock. But the second line is what could cause some problems. So I just want folks to be prepared for the second line. And we talked about this earlier, and the question is, would it hold together? Well, it looks like it is holding together pretty well. And at the very least, it may kind of keep you up tonight with heavy downpours and the rumble of thunder. let's hope that's all we have to worry about as it moves through the metro area. Earlier tonight, just as we get off the air, the Severe Storms Prediction Center, we're thinking about putting a tornado watch out for essentially the entire DMV. They have not done that yet. They're still worried about this second line running into just enough shear and just enough ingredient, so to speak, to maybe kick off some very small tornadoes. But right now, we're continuing the tornado warning until 12:45. I think the best news is that we're coming up on 12:30 now, and they have not extended this or pushed this out. So that's, I think that's probably the best news we have so far. The bad news is that's a monster storm right now. I mean, that is just, we're going to get some rainfall rates now. They may be contaminated with this hail. I suspect there's hail right there. Yeah, with rainfall rates at 12 inches. So yeah, it's hitting hail, ice. And that's why it's saying it's 12 inches per hour. So this is going to have hail with it, as well as a possible tornado, and certainly winds of 60 miles per hour. And you know, if we kind of go a little further out in terms of querying the data, that's more reasonable, 3 inches per hour. So you get outside the hail core, yeah, you've got rainfall rates of 2 to 3 inches per hour. Thankfully, it's moving at a pretty good clip, but still, it's going to put down some pretty serious rain. So possible flooding with this, possible tornado, hail likely, and strong winds likely as well. Tornado warning. Okay, they just canceled it. Excellent. They just canceled it. So canceled now for Rockingham and Shenandoah County, which is fantastic news. We will we'll go ahead and we'll zoom back out here to kind of reset for just a second, and we'll be with you all night, and we'll track these for you and make sure they don't become severe again. But this is now been canceled. We'll watch this whole line as it moves eastward across I-81. We'll see if it stays together and if another tornado warning is prompted. But right now, lightning in Newmarket, Virginia. There you go. Look at, oh yeah, look at that. So that's pretty cool. You know, and of course, you know, there was the mess at the Halsey concert tonight up in Meriwether Post that was eventually canceled because of the flooding and the tornado. So again, this has been canceled for Rockingham and Shenandoah. And they canceled the flood warning too for Howard and Montgomery County as well. So we'll take a break. We'll go back to Mr. Colbert. We'll watch these storms all night. If a watch comes out, that'll be crawled bottom of your screen. If a tornado warning comes out, we will be on the air because that's what we do, and that is our job. If you've not signed up to be a weather watcher, it's a good time to do it. Go to WSA9.com/weatherwatchers. And if you want to join our weather community, take pictures, share videos, and have some seminars with us, we would love that. Also, download our app in case these become severe. You don't want to be downloading the app when severe weather is occurring. You want to just have a plan and have it ahead of time. So a good time to do that as well. And on our app, bottom right, is something called Near Me. You click on that, take a picture or a video, you can send that to us. Only do that when it's safe. So once again, tornado warning canceled for Rockingham, Shenandoah, and I think, well, now I'm kind of concerned about something. Hang on. They may not have canceled it for Page. That is my only question here. They've canceled it for Rockingham and Shenandoah. It may still be on for Page, and that is, let's just, there's the flood watch continues to 4 o'clock in the morning. That's not going to change. They're not going to cancel that with flooding ongoing at this point. Here's a tornado index. Look at that. It lined up pretty well, didn't it? It doesn't get much bigger than enhanced. It really doesn't. By the time we get to 1 o'clock, it's low, but it's still across the western viewing area. By 3 o'clock, it's almost gone, and then by 5 o'clock, it's across the bay. What does Futurecast do with these storms? They move them eastward. I mean, we're looking at pretty strong storms at 1:30 on I-81, but maybe not quite as severe as they were out toward Cumberland, but you still see flecks of red. We see red, that's big time. You see dark red, that's serious. And even the orange and yellow are pretty heavy. That rolls through the nighttime hours, and then we're looking at an okay Thursday. In fact, a really nice Thursday. So if you're under a warning, you want to go to interior room, away from windows, and protect yourself from flying debris. Flying debris is the real problem, okay? And you want to get interior hall, interior bathroom. If you have a basement, yeah, go to the basement, but You also have to stay away from windows in the basement as well, but that by far and away is the best place, no doubt. Here are all the storm reports. These are all essentially from that second wave that went through, produced the flooding, a lot of downed trees up in parts of eastern Montgomery County, Howard County, and also Anne Arundel and Baltimore County. That's the first storm that went through, produced a wind of 59 miles per hour down toward Quantico. So here's the radar again. And we still, okay, they've canceled the warning for Rockingham and Shenandoah, but I think, Paige, I think you're still under the warning. I really do. Yeah, a little area right there, just Paige until 12:45. So we're going to go ahead and stay with you then. I thought they had not canceled it yet from Paige. So we'll track this for you. And it's, I mean, it's good they've canceled some. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I think that because they have not canceled everything yet, we should stay with you, and especially considering it's going to move, toward parts of the western area, viewing area. So it's moving 35. We're going to just track this a little bit toward Luray. Remember Luray, as I said, a little worried about you, okay? Luray, let's see, about 12:41, so that's just before it would expire. And we've got Rileyville at about 12:56. So again, it's been canceled for Rockingham and Shenandoah County, but the little area Page County is still under the tornado warning until 12:45, and that could go to Luray Caverns at 12:38, and maybe to Compton at about 12:59. So please take this seriously. If you're in any of those areas, we'd like you to take cover for a minute. I almost have off for just a second. And I want to just do a couple things back here, and then I'll pop back. So the warning continues for Page County until 12:45. I will check the app again and see. I really don't see. I see a little bit. I see a little bit of rotation, but not much. I see more than anything, just some high winds, 50, 60 mile per hour winds. That's what I'm concerned about. What I want to do is I want to slow this down a little bit. This is our, there we go. That's 2 o'clock in the morning with our Futurecast. See that little thing at 2:30? That's still pretty heavy. I mean, that's pretty heavy. Gaithersburg, Fairfax, Loudoun County line. 4 o'clock, it's not too bad, and then it's pretty much gone after that. So I just wanted to kind of come in and set that up again. It was going too fast for me. So. Okay, I don't see a bunch of rotation, maybe a tiny bit, but I do see winds of 50 in this storm, and then we have reports of hail out there in that storm as well. So here's the radar. I kind of reset it for you. This is over the past couple of hours. This is the second line that's coming through with the front itself. How many times have we said this in the last 2 weeks? The first line was prefrontal, and we've had that on a Thursday and a Friday. And now we have the second line on this Wednesday, just about to cross over I-81 at this point. So this is still a tornado warning for Page County until 12:45. And we have, okay, this is great news in some ways. Stay with me. This is a severe thunderstorm warning. Now we have a new tornado warning out toward Rockingham County till 1 o'clock. This warning tells me that they're not going to extend the Page warning. They're going to make that a severe thunderstorm warning, include Sperryville and Luray. So that's good. So you folks, in Luray and points in the path of that where we just tracked it, you're going to have a severe thunderstorm, but right now we don't think it's going to be a tornado, okay? That will probably let that expire, but now we have a new warning for Rockingham until 1 o'clock, and this was indicated moving east at 35 miles per hour, and certainly has some hail in it. It's about 8 miles northwest of Harrisonburg, so that's where this storm is. So this is moving off to the northeast too. They're all moving essentially northeastward. We'll track this. We'll see what path this is in. So this is for Rockingham County, and it's moving off to the north and the east. This goes to 1 o'clock. Okay, so we'll kind of track. I think this is probably the most severe part of the storm. Okay. And let's just see, we'll track that again here. This is the most severe part right here, okay? And we'll bring this out to Newmarket. We'll kind of bring it even further than that. So on the storm tracker, Newmarket 12:52, Shavertown 101, Hamburg 113, and Luray Caverns at 114. So this tells me some of these storms that are now behind this first one are holding together and are in fact pretty intense. So if you're in Hamburg or Newmarket or Plains Mill or Broadway, you should take cover. Interior room or a basement. You folks mainly have basements out there, so it's at least more common. So again, we have the tornado warning for Rockingham until 1 o'clock, for Page until 12:45. But again, the best news about Page, they didn't extend it. They just changed that into a severe thunderstorm warning. That's bad. I mean, quite frankly, it's almost the same deal. Winds are still going to be 60, probably have some small hail. So Luray and Sperryville, get ready for that. But the best news is that that is just now extended as a severe thunderstorm warning and not as a tornado warning. So that's, I guess, the best news I have for you at this point. And we'll move back into, I want to change one more thing here. Move back into Rockingham County. Yeah, I see a little rotation around just to the west of Edom, E-D-O-M. I do see that. So if you're in that area, then I would say, hey, let's take cover. If you know someone in that area, I would say have them take cover because it's certainly possible that there's a tornado on the ground, and if not, there is the likelihood of severe weather. I mean, there's no doubt about that. There's definitely more like severe weather. I want to change a couple of views in here, and then I'll go back out there for you. There. Now, right now, no one's under a tornado watch. They've not issued that. Storm Prediction Center has not issued that. I'm just going to check, but I don't see any. I don't see any watch issued. No, they have no watches in effect, even though we're dealing with tornado warnings, which is sort of odd at this point. But that's it's okay. So around Edom, that's about north. That's about 12 miles north of Harrisonburg. I do see a little tiny bit of rotation there. So if you know someone in that area, you might want to call them and say, hey, you might want to take shelter. So this is so Odom is just a little bit to the north of Harrisonburg. So I think I can probably get in here and show this to you. It should show up on the map. If you know someone there, that's probably where I think the best place or the best chance of seeing a tornado. So we'll zoom in again north of Harrisonburg. It should pop up here. There's Cherry Grove. It's not far from Cherry Grove. It's actually a little bit south, I think, of Cherry Grove. So just kind of scoot this guy this way just a little. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's scoot this guy a little bit. Well, while we have this up here, okay. Yeah, I think it's too far away from the radar to really tell. I really do. I don't think it's doing it justice because it does have a little. It does have a little bit of rotation. It really does. So if you're anywhere, you're around Cherry Grove, I definitely would take cover. And then further up, Daphne, I would take cover as well for hail, for winds of 60, and a possible tornado, because looks to me like that's the best chance of where it is right now around Edom. And it doesn't look like we saw, last Friday. But it does look like it, could be a little maybe F0 or something like that. So please take cover. Let me zoom back out, and we'll talk about both the warnings. So we have this warning until 1 o'clock, and that's Rockingham. And then we have the other warning for Page, and that goes until 12:45. But the best news about this, they've not extended the tornado warning. So that means, okay, severe thunderstorm headed toward Luray, but right now not necessarily a tornado. It could change, but that's good news. Bad news is they've put the tornado warning back to the south and west of Newmarket. So we should probably track this, speaking of Newmarket. It could actually head toward our friends in Newmarket. So we'll track it from here. And what I did was I actually changed the, let me go in a little bit. I changed the speed of the tracker so that we're fully up to date here on the speed of these storms, all right? So it's northwest of Harrisonburg, and it's moving off to the north and east at about 34 miles per hour, 34 miles per hour. And it's eventually going to head, well, it's crossing over 42 now. If you're around 42, that's kind of a dangerous spot to be right now. It really is. Let me just kind of bring this out a little bit this way. I want to bring it down a little bit. Now I'm going to track this across Newmarket, and we'll see. We'll get some towns for you in terms of where it's headed, where it's possibly headed. Again, it's a Doppler indicated tornado warning. No one's seen it, but we have to, take this seriously in terms of, when we see this, when this is issued, it's our job to tell you about it, and you should always take it seriously, even if it's doesn't come to anything. Doesn't matter. When you have a warning, you should have a plan, okay? And that plan, when a warning occurs, you should be able to put that into action without even thinking about it. That's really the key. You don't want to have to say, okay, well, I gotta think about my plan, and I gotta see if it'll work or not, because that is not good. We're gonna scope this again. Yeah, I see some straight line winds that are pretty impressive, probably 50 miles per hour, but I just don't see any rotation with that scan. I did with the app I have in my pocket, but I did not with that. So I guess that's some good news, but they've issued the warning, so that's bad. All right, we're going to track this for you, okay? And we'll track it through Newmarket up like that. So here we go. Newmarket at 12:55. That's about 13 minutes from now. Shavertown at 12:59, and then Hamburg at about 1:10. So that's with this storm. Now, if you're in these areas or in one of these towns, even if it's not a tornado, you're going to get some heavy rain. I mean, we're talking 2 to 3 inches per hour, possibly some hail, and yes, possibly a small tornado. So either way, this is severe, okay? Now what we'll do is we'll see if the National Weather Service says, okay, we'll put a severe thunderstorm warning ahead of it, or we're going to continue the tornado warning ahead of it. And we'll just see how strong and how long these stay together, because that is one of the keys. Now we'll zoom in and we'll see the rainfall, and again, some of it's contaminated by hail. I get that, but there's some pretty big rainfalls right in here. I would say 2 to 3 inches per hour. Yeah, 2.74 inches per hour. Up toward Luray already, we got rainfall about the same, 2.74. So in the vicinity of 2 to 3 inches per hour with this, okay? Everybody's got a flood watch in effect, and that goes until 4 o'clock in the morning. Where you see the bright green, flooding is occurring. Those are aerial flood warnings, and that's from that storm that left anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of rain. Here's our tornado threat index. This is kind of lining up well. We're looking at, it's all low, but it's still on the map, so to speak. But 1 o'clock, it's low and west of us. And just so you know, if you look at this a lot, it's rarely enhanced, and only once in a while has it been moderate. That Thursday, a couple Thursdays ago, it was actually in the moderate range in some areas. So it's not a end-all, be-all tool, but it's a good tool. It really is. 3 a.m., not much going on, okay? 4 o'clock, pretty much gone. 5 o'clock, pretty much gone. So here's Futurecast. That's 1:30. Still heavy. Maybe not severe, but certainly heavy. And look how it kind of holds together. 2 o'clock, this is going to be heavy rain in the dark green, but right now nothing crazy severe. But look what happens. By 2:30, it pops up again red. So these could be very heavy, if not severe, late tonight. May keep you up at night. From Frederick down 270 to Rockville, over toward Olney, Etchison, and back toward Manassas. And then by 4 o'clock, okay, it does weaken. Across 95, we have a little bit of heavy activity up near Baltimore. That's it. And then by 7:30 tomorrow, some residual clouds, but then it's going to be a fantastic day tomorrow. Dry air comes in, winds go northwest, really good. We have to get through tonight, though. So, tornado warning. We also have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Rockingham. So, interior room, hall, closet, anything away from windows and away from outside walls. But yes, the best place to be, of course, is the basement. But not everybody has a basement. Here are the storm reports. And this is a lot of trees, a lot of flooding reports. Ellicott City, Main Street was flooded again. The wind gusts, I can show you some of the wind gusts here. Pretty impressive down toward Quantico. And this was the first storm that went through, okay? This is the first storm that went through earlier today. So this is, that's Quantico, so that's a 59-mile-per-hour wind gust at the Marine Corps. And then that brought down a tree on the northbound US 1. That's been since cleared up. Now, up to the north, I mean, we've got, these are all flooding reports. Excuse me, trees reports. Trees down near Warfield and Dorsey, that's in Gaithersburg. This icon is all flooding. We got all kinds of problems at 757 today. And then, of course, later tonight up near the Halsey concert, they had multiple roads closed in and out around the city of Columbia. That's right where the concert was at Meriwether Post. And they did cancel it. And check out this video. Look, it's crazy. Look at that. That's inside Meriwether Post Pavilion. The roof's not doing much good. And then water's cascading down the stairs and into the areas that have closed, covered seats. So it was a mess. And I was a little concerned. My daughter was up there, and I was a little concerned. Then the tornado warning came on, and I was more concerned. Everybody got home safely as far as we know, but it was a real mess for a while. And rumor is that Halsey canceled it early on, but the folks at Meriwether didn't want folks to run away and panic, so they held the information back for a while, which wasn't a horrible idea considering you're under a tornado warning. You don't want people fleeing in their cars. So, although I don't know how much good Meriwether Post would do you in terms of coverage, although I did see some tweets. Some folks were in bathrooms. Very smart. If you're in a stadium like that, go to a bathroom. Okay, so that's where all the reports are in terms of the damage, and we'll probably see more tonight as we go through, and the light of day goes and tells us if we had a tornado up in Howard County, and also if we had a tornado down in St. Mary's County or Calvert County earlier today. It's possible. So here's a radar again, and there's that second line pushing through, and it's about to cross over I-81. Tornado warning continues for Rockingham until 1 o'clock, so they're still on that, and we still have the tornado warning now is expired for Page. So all we have now is Rockingham until 1 o'clock. It's 12:48, so that expired just by time in Page. So that's good. These are holding together though pretty well. That's not so good. You see all the flecks of red. That's pretty good. And and when they cross over the mountains, oftentimes they weaken, but these are not weakening that much. So good news, this is now a severe thunderstorm warning for Madison, Page, and Rappahannock. So Page, you're clear right now of the tornado warning. So now we just have the tornado warning in Rockingham County, and that goes until 1 o'clock. And that is, we'll see if they extend this, and let's do some investigating here. So let's first sort of track it, where it could go, and then we want to talk about the scope and see if the scope shows anything in terms of rotation that is cause for concern. It's going to have strong winds. I want to emphasize that. We talk about this all the time. You can't get too hung up on, I got a tornado warning or it's a severe thunderstorm warning. They both can do equal damage, especially here because our tornadoes aren't that big. So a severe thunderstorm warning can produce essentially the same amount of winds as a small, say, EF 0, EF1 tornado. So just keep that in mind. You got to say both is important. All right. Let's zoom in a little bit, and we'll kind of see where where we think the critical areas are right now. So we can zoom in just a little bit. There we go. Newmarket. Well, Newmarket, you should take cover. There's no doubt about that. We've been talking about you for quite some time at this point. So you're out of the warning area, but you should still take cover. Certainly around I-81 and 11 and Broadway, that to me looks like a place where you should take cover as well. And let's see, we'll kind of move this up just a little bit. Okay, so yeah, Newmarket, yeah, you're possibly in the path, again, maybe not of a tornado, although possibly, but also in the path of a very strong, severe thunderstorm. Hail, rainfall rates 1.5 to about 2.5 inches at this point, not quite 3, and then the potential for damaging winds as well. So let me go out just a little bit here, okay, and then we're gonna try and track this for you. So Newmarket, yeah, you've got to, yeah. Newmarket certainly is in the path again of maybe not a tornado, but certainly of a severe storm. I'm going to kind of bring it up to here, okay. They've issued another severe thunderstorm warning, which is good. Let's bring all the way to Luray again. Okay, so new market at 12:58, about 7 minutes from now. So some of the same towns have come up. Franwood Farms Airport 104, Hamburg 111, Luray Caverns about 113, and Luray at about 117. Another severe thunderstorm warning to the south, another warning to the north and to the east for Madison, Page, Rockingham, and Greene, and that's been extended now. It's a new warning that goes until 1:30, but that's a severe thunderstorm warning. So if you're in this path, I hope folks are taking cover. New Market particularly, Shavertown 102, and Hamburg at about 111. That would be a good idea to take cover. But, you know, let me just zoom out here. We've got all kinds of severe thunderstorm warnings. I mean, it's, you know, lit up like a Christmas tree here. Again, the warnings are the yellow box or the yellow polygon. So those are the warnings. We've got a ton of warnings down toward Harrisonburg, Luray, Greene, Madison, Page, and Rockingham until 1:30 in the morning. And then the other warning goes, tornado warning goes until 1 o'clock out to the west. And they are still keeping that for the time being. Now, even the warnings that they've issued, there's still a possible tornado in Madison and Page and Rappahannock. So they issued certain types of severe thunderstorm warnings, and some are, hey, severe thunderstorm warning, you know, main threat wind and hail, but the possibility of a small tornado. So anywhere in this area, we could see a little spin up. It would be small, it'd be EF1, EF0, not going to be wide. Our tornadoes here in the east are pretty narrow. Sometimes, you know, maybe 100 yards wide, maybe 200 yards wide. I'm not talking about a quarter mile, half mile wide tornadoes like they have in the Midwest. So that's something to watch. Let me just take this off again here, and we'll show you the warning for Rockingham until 1 o'clock. That's right there. But look at all the severe thunderstorm warnings surrounding it. I mean, it's all over the place. And now it looks like we have a flood warning in effect too in the green. So that makes sense with the rainfall rates of what we say. This one probably 1.5 to 2.5. The one southwest Luray had 3-inch rainfall, 3 inches an hour at one point. So this is kind of a growing line of storms and a little bit troubling. We'll see if this actually forms into a solid line of storms. But tornado warning Rockingham to 1, and then severe thunderstorm warning for Greene, Madison, Page, and also part of Rockingham County until 1:30, right there. So they're starting to move across I-81. So let's do some. We'll do some rainfall here and see. I think we're still looking at rainfall rates almost 3 inches. Let's see. Some of it may be contaminated with some hail. That is possible, but sometimes it'll give you a good reading. Sometimes, well, 4.88. That's probably got a little tiny bit of hail in it. May not be reaching the ground, but you get the idea. This is 4 inches around 11 and I-81, and even across, okay, so east of New Market, just east of New Market, that's probably a legitimate estimate, about almost 3 inches per hour. So, and that makes sense because they have a flood warning now covering most of this area. So, yeah, we got some big time storms here, and I'm worried about them holding together as they move, closer to western suburbs like Loudoun County and Fauquier County, because it's we could see, again, it's not really a conducive atmosphere to have a lot of tornadoes or well-defined tornadoes, but it's a pretty decent setup for what we call little spinners that may pop out of a line of thunderstorms. So, we've got solid line from Winchester back toward Harrisonburg right now. So they're just about to enter western Loudoun County and also western Fauquier County. So that's, we'll see if these hold together. We still have the tornado warning, though, for Rockingham until 1 o'clock. So it's 12:55. We'll see if they extend that or not. I'm not so sure with the severe thunderstorm warnings around it that they will. Again, I don't see a bunch of, there's a lot of stuff on that map. I don't see a bunch of rotation with this, but we can check it out again. And I don't see any, I see some pretty good winds, maybe 30 to 40, maybe 45, but we don't see that coupling of the red and the green, the green away and the red toward the radar site, and that indicates rotation. So the thunderstorm has to rotate, and then sometimes it can drop down a funnel cloud, and then sometimes it can drop down a full tornado. That does not trouble me a lot, but that said, it's still going to be a severe thunderstorm. Can't get around that, okay? You can't get around rainfall rates of 1.5 to 3.5 inches per hour. You can't get around winds of 50 miles per hour within that storm, and possibly some small hail as well. So now we've got an expired tornado warning for Rockingham County. That is fantastic. So now we're just looking at severe thunderstorms off to the north and the east through Luray and also through Sperryville. So that's good. This will disappear in a minute, but it just came across. The tornado warning has been expired. So we're going to reset for a second and show you that line. And then we will go back and we'll come back if conditions warrant. So here's the radar, and that's a pretty good line. It looks heavy and not so much severe, so that's good. But this is going to all roll through tonight between now and about 3 o'clock in the morning. That's why the flood watch goes until 4 o'clock in the morning. So, good news, bad news, no tornado warnings in effect, but a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings in effect as well. And if one of these pops a tornado, even if it's a small tornado, we will be back on the air. For now, a reminder, join our weather community, WSA9.com/weatherwatchers, and send us videos and pictures and share everything together, because it's great. Or you can put your phone up if you're awake enough to, I'll probably put you to sleep. Put your phone up to the QR code there and sign up. We'd love to have you. It's a great group of folks, and it is our eyes on the ground, boots on the ground, especially during severe weather. For now, I'm meteorologist Topper Schutt. I hope not to see you again, but if I do, it will be for a tornado warning.
This has been a WUSA 9 Weather Alert. Stay safe from the storm wherever you go. Download the WUSA 9 mobile app.